Hello everyone, here we are in California with the sun shining and the Sonoma Raceway proving to be a huge attraction to not only the drivers but the spectators that want to see some real race action on what is termed a very old school circuit. We bring the Ferrari Challenge to Sonoma and we know it's going to entertain. We have a series of races across the weekend that will feature the Pirelli drivers, the Pirelli AM drivers, also the Coppa Shell and Coppa Shell AM drivers, all driving their 488 Challenge Evos to the absolute max on this circuit which takes no prisoners. Here we go. Let's go racing, a Ferrari Challenge style with Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli AM drivers, taking to the grid of this phenomenal Sonoma Raceway. Manny Franco, who was victorious yesterday in his qualifying session earlier on today, well, he sealed the deal by putting it P1, and he will be going from the front of the pack. This is our calendar for 2023 then, which has seen us go to Homestead, Miami, to the Circuit of the Americas, to Road Atlanta, to Montreal, here in Sonoma, still Road America to come at the beginning of September, before we all head off to Italy at the end of October, for the Finale Mondiale at Mugello. So this is where we're situated then on the coast of California, and what a fantastic venue for a racing circuit. With the rolling hills of the Napa Valley completely surrounding it. It really is very, very scenic, and well recommended for you to come and take a look at this place. Amazing. And the circuit is some 2.5 miles. It's a 12-turn track with 6 left-handers and 6 right-handers, and it wends its way through the hills of the valley that surrounds as well. And it makes for a track which demands 100% commitment from the drivers for 100% of the time. There's not much opportunity there for the drivers to relax during the course of the race, I can tell you, says he as if he's been round the track at race pace. Well, he certainly hasn't. Air temperature is 30 degrees, track temperature is 45 degrees. There's a bit of wind around, which is changing the weather conditions somewhat from yesterday, and there's also quite a bit of cloud cover as well. So the weather is very different, or slightly different, I should say, rather than very different to that we experienced yesterday. Justin Bell, I think for the drivers it makes for perhaps a slightly more comfortable experience.
Yes, definitely. First of all, welcome everyone to the second race. I'm very excited to watch these guys. Yesterday's race was magnificent. Yes, the weather does make it more pleasant. Inside the car, though, temperatures will still get up. The on-track action is enough to heat them up, believe me. And there's a lot to play for. Everyone's got the measure of everybody, and I think we're in for actually a bit of a barnstormer.
Barnstormer, that's a great expression. I haven't heard that used in ages. Very much looking forward to it. So as we're taking our RF camera and taking a look at some of the cars here, that's the car of Dylan Medler that you're looking at. And as we go back from that, the number 54 car is that of John Bennett for Foreign Cars Italia. The drivers and coaches and engineers all around their cars. The drivers are strapped in and ready to go racing. 30-minute race as always with the Ferrari Challenge, and as I say, that mix of Pirelli and Pirelli AM drivers. Brian Cook was the best of the AM drivers in qualifying today. He's got at pole position for Trofeo Pirelli AM. For Trofeo Pirelli, it is Manny Franco for Ferrari Lake Forest, who will be going from pole position when the cars take off for their formation lap behind the Richard Mills safety car in but a few moments from now. So this track, when talking to you, Justin, earlier on in the week, and we were comparing notes about coming here, and you were saying you're going to really, really love this track, and we'll hear more about that in just a few moments' time. But it does roll, and it is something of a roller coaster, I should say, this track, which demands a lot from our drivers and demands a lot from the cars as well. McCade Wang is one of those drivers that we're looking at right now. He's one of our Trofeo Pirelli AM stars, and that onboard view, and we'll be bringing you lots of onboard views during the course of the race, and there is McCade Wang, and right now let's go to Amanda Busick.
Oh, and Dave, I get the words that everyone wants to hear. Drivers, for the last time, start your Ferrari engines.
And the power plants of the 488 Challenge Evos then will light up as we look at the car of Jason McCarthy for Wide World Ferrari. We were saying, Justin, or I was saying, roller coaster of a circuit this is. Bite you on the bottom if you get it wrong.
Bite you on from the bottom. It certainly will, but there's also opportunity from chaos, and that's what we saw in the last race. That was my always positive way of looking at it. Would like to say, Amanda, you said that so nicely. Gentlemen, start your Ferrari engines. That was a perk of the job, wasn't it? Getting to instruct the big race of the day. Yeah, I mean, I think roller coaster's right. Quite literally, it has more undulation than most other tracks you'll ever go to. And just like a roller coaster, it's a little bit the opposite in racing. It's easier to go uphill than it is to go downhill. Downhill puts a lot of demands on the car, on the brakes, on the dynamics, on the chassis, on the handling. And everybody knows that they have to manage their tires, manage their race strategy. You have some of the best coaches literally in the world, but some of my peers are out there, and I'm just shocked by seeing them here helping these guys. They are the knowledge and the talent that they have. I'd say a lot of these drivers are if you talk about a leg up, Ferrari Challenge are giving them the best fundamental training, and every one of these guys has someone they work with in one way or another, even if it's not directly with them now within the team, because these guys have done a lot of racing. And they will have analyzed their strategy. We actually have a car that's not starting there, or is he starting from the back, do you think?
Well, that looks like the Martin Burrows car. We will find out in due course as the Richard Mills safety car leads the cars away. We are ready for Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am Race 2. So we are being told that the Martin Burrows car, which was the car, I think, and it is now rolling apparently, so he will be able to join what's termed as the crocodile. Manny Franco goes from P1, Matt Kurjewski going to be a danger man from P2. What a brilliant front row of our Trofeo Pirelli grid, with Roberto Perina and Jason McCarthy. They're champing at the bit from row 2 as well. They are P3 and P4. Custodio Toledo and Dylan Medler go from P5 and P6 to collection drivers together there on the third row of the grid, with Dave Musial Jr. and Jonathan Bennett going from P8, so P7 and P8 for Ferrari Lake Forest and Foreign Cars Italia. Martin Burrows then going from P9. Best of the AM drivers, Brian Cook, he goes from pole position, which is P10. P11 is Michael Mathis. P12 is Omar Balkasoon. And then we find Brad Falva going from P13 and Justin Rothberg out of position, I would suggest, going from P14. He's going to be one to watch. Tony Davis, he's had a mixed weekend, and Dave Musial, they go from P15 and P16, with John Horsch and Jay Logan. They are P17 and P18, completing the 9th row of our Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli grid. On the 10th row, it's Michael Porter and Chuck Whittle, P19 and P20, with McCade Wang and Joe Sposato then on the 11th row of our Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli grid, those two being Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. So the car's led around by the Richard Mills safety car ahead of the start of this race, and it's now the pinch point for all the drivers and everything that they've done. It's final stages of preparation for them. Justin, what's going through a driver's mind at this point?
Those little butterflies have settled. Normally, you know, you just got to do the job ahead. It's an anticipation that's very stimulating. You're very aware, last-minute checks. You're looking down at your gauges. I often used to give one last cinch up on my seatbelts, just a little confidence thing. Don't even know if they ever moved, but it just made me feel better. You're lining up side by side, as you can see at the front of the pack, and that is how you are supposed to form up alongside your grid mate as you come down into turn 11, and that is there is a car just coming through. Yes, it's
the Martin Burrows car we can see from our window.
Oh, do you know what? I believe he went and rejoined behind his group, which he should have done in 9th, but maybe race control said you've got to start from totally the back.
Yep.
So good call from race control. Look at them there. That is a formidable sight. You literally, every sight and sense in your body is on full alert right now, ready to launch into action. Of course, that 296 GTB will pull off the pace car to the right, and the pace for the green flag is controlled by Mr. Franco.
Here we go then, standing by the man standing on the gantry there with the green flag. He waves that flag with some gusto as we go racing now. Trofeo Pirelli and Manny Franco doing a good job and put it from P1 into P1. So Matt Kurjewski, who was looking to have a go as we get some cars going 3 abreast here as they climb uphill. Whoa. Absolutely fantastic, but 3 into those. really rather narrow tarmac. It has worked, and thankfully all appear to be getting through the first sequence of turns all okay.
Yeah, as they come down, they dive down into turns 4, 5 there. Manny told me, I saw him on their way to the grid, and he was pretty confident. I said, are you going to run away? And he goes, well, I hope so. I said, well, I think about 3 or 4 other guys want to stop you, but side by side as they head over into turn 6, over that brow. Ooh, a little twitch. That's what happens as you brush the brakes going across there. Yeah, a lot of jostling for position. There is opportunity at this moment. Far easier to make a move now than it is in 2 or 3 laps.
What you can see here on a mission is the number 46 car, who Martin Burrows then, who had a problem as the cars were assembling for the start, and then we think he was sent right to the back of the pack, and he's tried to make amends now, isn't he?
Oh, a little touchy going through there. You know what? There is a lot of spirit of competition, let's put it, amongst these boys and girls. That's very, very good. I think there was John Bennett in the middle of that as well. I didn't realize that was the John Bennett of IMSA fame, and I saw him in the hospitality, and I'm like, oh my goodness. John, I've seen race all around the world. Amazing experience, dedication to racing, and a real tribute to Ferrari Challenge that this is where he's decided to make his racing home for this year.
Okay, so as we put the first lap together then, Manny Franco leading from Matt Kurjewski. Now Brian Cook and Justin Rothberg, I said he's going to be one to watch. He's moved up a handful of places to make it into P2 in Trofeo Pirelli Am, with Omar Balkasoon running in P3. Then it's Brad Falva, Dave Musial and Tony Davis. It was Dave Musial and Tony Davis who had that little touch a few moments ago, and Tony's, as I say, he's had a really mixed weekend and hoping to right the wrongs of the weekend perhaps in this race. But the big mover in Trofeo Pirelli Am is Justin Rothberg, moved up some 4 places.
I've seen this movie before. They're running, look, 2nd, 3rd, 4th in our front-running class are literally nose to tail, which does give Manny that little bit of breathing space. I wouldn't let him get too far away, guys. Keep a hook on the back of Manny's car. There is a lot of sporty stuff going on right now. Of course, 778 at the top end of this incredible amphitheater is where it sets the tone for this very fast downhill sweep. Manny is not actually gapping them as far as he did yesterday in the opening stages. It's 0.6 of a second right now, which can come undone in a hurry.
Yes.
He said you just got to keep managing the tires, and much to the, I hope his competition don't know this, but as he said, half the race yesterday he could run. He wasn't even pushing hard.
Really?
Yep. Because he was able to manage his car. So that's bad news, by the way, for everyone else.
So Perina, Medler, and Toledo, and Bennett, and Musial Jr. running P4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 then in Trofeo Pirelli. And the Trofeo Pirelli cars with a red strip across the top of the windscreen, as you can see the Custodia Toledo and John Bennett battle that is going on for that P6 place, but it is joined by Dave Musial Jr. as well. So a 3-way fight, and brilliant stuff. And you've got Brian Cook running ahead of Justin Rothberg in Trofeo Pirelli Am currently. So there is Matt Kurjewski. Now, Manny Franco is breaking away just a little bit now. So what can Matt Kurjewski do? Amanda Busick may have some issues on this.
Well, at last pass by, it's about a second of difference between them. But I was talking to Matt prior to this race about just his strategy for today, and knowing that he was going to line up next to Manny Franco, who won yesterday. And he said, we've had so much track time this week that today is all about having fun. And he said, if there's someone on this track that I would race side by side, which I hope we get to see, he said it would be Manny Franco, that he just trust him implicitly on this track. And while Manny's not going for a championship, Matt said that he wants to maintain a clean race today for himself, because while you can lose points out here, it's just as hard to gain them.
It's a very fair point, and very it's a good attitude to have from Matt Kurjewski, but really nice that the camaraderie between the drivers, whilst there is competition between the two of them as well, or between all the drivers, to be able to have trust in those that you're competing against, and as he said, is happy to go side by side and know that they will race fairly.
Well, right now he's got to keep his head down. The threat from McCarthy behind is very real.
Yes.
But at this stage, I don't think unless you see a pass shot like we saw in the last race attempted, you're not going to gain a position the way they're gapped at the moment that easily. So he wants to catch him up. He wants to try and gain a bit. But look at this battle.
Well, this is Custodio Toledo, John Bennett, Brian Cook, Dave Musial Jr., Justin Rothberg, Omar Balkasoon. Add to this whatever you would like in terms of the cars that are lining up here, and that is that's gone through there.
It's number 3.
It is Brian Cook. The car looking very, very similar to that of Tony Davis, which just wrong-footed me for the moment. Well, Brian Cook, of course, he's got the benefit now of having Trofeo Pirelli drivers between himself and Justin Rothberg. And here is, you said that he was going to be vulnerable, and sure enough, Jason McCarthy has taken this to Matt Kojewski.
Yes, look at that. That was a very nice pass.
He is all over the back of Matt Kojewski now. Where can Jason McCarthy and Roberto Perina is just waiting for this for this fight to escalate ahead of him and to see if he can take advantage. He's not quite close enough.
Not quite close enough. He was there. He was almost. Sorry, my apologies, everyone. That was not a pass, but it was a pretty good attempt at one. And I'd say Matt is definitely feeling the pressure as he gets to the inside. But he managed to actually pin himself to the inside very nicely on the exit and defend. But this story isn't over.
No, you're right. Jason McCarthy looking really, really racy. Let's get a live gap as they cross the timing line between the two of them then. Whoa, it's very, very close. Now, Matt Kojewski and Jason McCarthy had a great fight in the race yesterday. Looks like we're going to see the same today. We've got 23 minutes of this race still to come. Thank goodness for that. And, well, let's see how they do here, as we can see that John Bennett has dropped down the order. There's been perhaps something coming together there, but for the moment Matt Kojewski is able to hold on to this P2 place, but Jason McCarthy is chasing hard, and Roberto Perina is certainly in with a shout as well. All of this is playing into the hands of Manny Franco, who now has stamped some 3.6 worth of margin between himself and Matt Kojewski. I just wonder whether Jason McCarthy is just easing off a little bit now, thinking, yeah, I'm just going to give him a lap, lull him into a full sense of security, and then try again.
Yeah, he gave it everything. That's very demanding on the tyres, and he gave it a good shot. So if I'm sure his team is saying just pace it. If you can't get by, it's okay. It'll come to us a little bit later. But these guys didn't get that memo. See those beautiful brake discs, the brake rotors glowing there as they come under braking.
Brian Cook
inside. Whoa,
what a mission here. This is Custodio Toledo that he's up against now. It's not an in-class battle, but it's a battle nonetheless. And Brian Cook is really having a go here. And the reason for this is that he knows that Justin Rothberg is only one car behind him, and he knows that Justin Rothberg means business here. So brilliant stuff.
If you're able to use the traffic, obviously that is to your advantage. Without burning up your car, but this is a very important overtake if he's able to pull it out. Everyone having a little look there. It must just look fantastic from the hospitality of the roar of these cars driving away. This track is set up for the amphitheater of entertainment that we're having.
It is like a little stadium section there, isn't it? Which is really, really nice, and I love that camera. All these 408 Challenge Evos roaring past the very unforgiving concrete, and Dave Musial Jr. then with Brian Cook ahead of him. As I say, they're in different classes, and Dave Musial Jr. will try and take it to Brian Cook. Brian Cook, in turn, is trying to take it to Custodio Toledo to give him another bit of breathing space ahead of Justin Rothberg in the all-white car that you can see that is also part of this battle too. Because Justin Rothberg, who's currently running P2, it's Omar Balkasoon who's running P3, and then it's Brad Falver, Dave Musial Senior, Tony Davis, and John Horsch. So Martin Burrows has got past a lot of cars as well, and he's running P15 in the race overall. And here we can see just how much pressure that Custodio Toledo is under here. And
I mean, he's under a lot of pressure.
He's holding on.
He knows this is an inevitability, unfortunately, and the trouble is he knows it's not just one car. I mean, he could drop 4 places if this goes wrong, and he's definitely holding up the guys behind. But there's you're not obligated to let them pass. It's kind of their job to do it, especially in a multi-class, race.
He's got track position, hasn't he? And if somebody can be 3, 4 cars can be faster than you behind. They've still got to find a way by, haven't they? You're not going to indicate left and let them go. And why should you when you've got that track position?
He's good out of turn 7A, which is giving him a bit of breathing space coming down here into 11. It's always easier to brake later when you're behind, especially into a corner like this. So I'd say the big thing for Cook is that he doesn't want to get overtaken himself while he's planning a move, on Toledo in front. So there's a lot of dynamics here. There's a lot of looking in the mirrors and looking very aggressively and strategically out of the front window.
Well, Custodio Toledo continues to hold on to these as Dave Musial Jr. with a different line now on Brian Cook. He tries to get to the inside. He wasn't quite far enough alongside that car to be able to make that move stick. And that would have been a place where I wouldn't necessarily have normally seen one, but
no.
He was certainly having a go. So Brian Cook himself is under pressure here now. Musial Jr., ordinarily, you could say, well, he's in a different class, just let him go. But if he does that, that puts him into the clutches of Justin Rothberg. At the moment, he's got that protection, hasn't he?
Totally. He does not want to relinquish this.
So really, really impressed with Custodio Toledo because, lap after lap after lap, he's just soaked this pressure up like a sponge and has not made a mistake, Justin.
Yeah, I wonder what his in his team must be very pleased with him, because he's actually found the rhythm of the guys behind. But like I've said, no, 2 cars go around.
That's John Horsch on
and a wall hit.
Oh dear. So it was poetry in motion there, wasn't it? As both cars were sliding sideways at the same time. Let's see it again in replay. Well done to the team.
Definitely going to make a highlight reel
quickly. My goodness.
These two come through. Look, inside each other. Little tap on the bum as you go through. And
that was perfect symmetry.
Wow, a little clunk on the wall. It would have just damaged the front splitter and a bit of paint. I don't think anything bad to that.
Okay.
Thankfully, he was able to pull it off the wall and not force us into a safety car situation.
So through the cars go. And
what did that do to our running order? Who did we just drop there? Everyone's moved around a bit. That did cause a little upset in the middle of that pack.
And there's a car into the pit lane, and that was one of those cars that was involved, I believe.
Balkazan, he did hit the wall on the outside there, so.
What a shame, because he was in a good position. So that means that Dave Musial, on his return to racing this weekend, is up to P3 in Trofeo Pirelli Am. So it's Cook, Rothberg, Musial now, and here is our race leader. We've not seen too much of him. The reason for that is very nearly 4 seconds up the road for Ferrari Lake Forest. So Manny Franco doing a very good job out there, isn't he, Amanda?
Well, I actually ran across his driver coach and spotter here this weekend, Alessandro Balzan, before he headed out. He said he likes to position himself around turn number 8 and said, I asked who else was over there with him, and he said, nobody. I am antisocial, and started laughing, but said the purpose of being in turn 8 is because he could also have eyes on the flag stand for those crucial starts of the race and restarts. Shall we see them there today? But it makes me, go through these conversations between driver and coach or spotter during the race. What might some of those things, what information might be exchanged, guys?
Well, definitely it's about managing your lap time. He was, as Amanda, when you and I saw Manny just before the race, he said he was given, if they just ran him on lap times, or when you're not in a direct fight, your team will control you on pace. They will tell you, I want you to do a 140.5. I want you to be in the 140s. You can run in at 141. They help you control your pace and not unnecessarily take a toll out of your car and still gap the guys behind. But a great camera angle list. I tell you, there is a pass brewing here. And Toledo has done a great job, but he has been running in his mirrors now for 4 or 5 laps, and that's exhausting stuff.
Well, talking about Alessandro Balzan then, who is driver coach to Manny Franco, of course, himself a former Ferrari Challenge champion, a great driver, and Ale Balzan giving me a lift in paddock recently in one of the golf carts. It's alley cabs.
Alley cab, that's funny.
Yes, I thought so.
He's very quick, boy oh boy.
Yeah, great driver and a great character as well.
Yeah.
So Franco, Kojewski, McCarthy, and then it is Roberto Perina, Dylan Medler, before we get to this little battle, which is Custodio Toledo ahead of Brian Cook and Dave Musial Jr. And it's been this way for lap after lap after lap, and Custodio Toledo has just soaked it up, and Brian Cook has not been able to put a move on him. Furthermore, Dave Musial Jr. has not been able to put a move on Brian Cook, and equally too, Justin Rothberg has not been able to really do anything about them ahead either. So it's stayed this way. We've reached half distance in terms of our race. You can see the progress that drivers have made here, including Justin Rothberg and Dave Musial, look up 5 and 6 places. Brilliant driving from them. And there we can see the number 22 car of Michael Porter. So lots going on. As I say, we reached the halfway stage of this Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli race and Trofeo Pirelli Am. So Logan, Porter and Mathis, they're in their battle for P6, and whichever way we look, there are battles going on out there on track, but seemingly no one is, dare I say it, quite brave enough to make that final part of the move that you described. Has to happen. You've got to absolutely commit to it and go for it. And
at this stage, they're probably not best positioned to do so, even though on track they look like they are, but the cars are going through probably a mid-race tire degradation phase when it's sort of the track temperature is rising a little bit, the wind is still out there, they've got a grip on what they're doing with their competition, but they've got to sort of balance it at this stage of the race if they want to get racing going into the last 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I would see the overtaking start to happen again, unless they look side by side. He reacted to actually the sideways of Logan and then twitched in like tandem. Unless there's a mistake made in front of you, the overtaking right now is harder to do, but it's going to come back to you in a very few laps.
Well, in the light blue 4-day Challenge Evo is Michael Mathis, and he's going to have Chuck Whittle joining that party in a moment as well. So a 3-way fight is going to become a 4-way fight, and there it is. And you can really see that tyre deg is, as you said, mid-race tyre deg is beginning to have an impact on how those cars are performing out there on track. You can see 1 or 2 of them just sliding a little bit more. And of course, if you've been really on it for lap after lap after lap since the start of the race, you've taken a lot out of the Pirellis.
Yeah, and you need to actually let them balance, equalize, and everybody has been in these trains very aggressive, darting out, seeking, making yourself known, dumbing the other guy, defending on the wrong line, running wide on the marbles. Marbles are the bits of rubber that we see offline away from the cars. Inside right now with Wang in the 98, you can see it, very nice line. He's gauging his exit by the car in front. It's all very synchronized, but you're all doing it independently of each other with one purpose. But you're going to see now they are balanced, but they're saving a little bit. Their crews, Amanda said, what are they saying? They're saying keep it balanced. Look at that. This is a nice move. Wow.
So that's Dave Musial then on Brian Cook. So he has gone through, and now that means Justin Rothberg is right on Brian Cook. Brian Cook had got the ability to control a bit because he'd got the cushion of a Trofeo Pirelli driver as Martin Burrows, who's been like a thing possessed, coming through the back, having to start right from the back of the pack, chasing his way through. So all of a sudden, what Brian Cook needs to do now is an expression I've learned from you. It's sort of hang on to the anchor behind Dave Musial to protect himself from Justin Rothberg. And, well, he got very, very close there. And Dave Musial's running wide there. And here comes Justin Rothberg to join in. And Martin Burrows is in this mix as well. 4 ways. This is very, very exciting. So Justin Rothberg with Martin Burrows behind him. Now, Martin Burrows, Trofeo Pirelli driver, chasing down Dave Musial. He's got 2 Trofeo Pirelli Am drivers in front of him now who are in their own battle, but their battle is for P1 in their respective class.
There's going to be that was a great pass we just watched at the front there, but as they from Cook, but as you said, I mean, any moment you're going to see the opportunity for the others to capitalize on the car in front's mistakes. So this is a very exciting moment in the race for them, considering I was saying they're supposed to be pacing it a bit, but if opportunity presents itself, you're going to take it. Ooh, a little out wide there.
So let's go right on board here, and we can see it from onboard camera position there as we're on board with McCade Wang now, with Chuck Whittle now running in that P17 place. And I said that Chuck Whittle is going to be right on Michael Mathis very, very soon. Well, McCade Wang wants to join into that as well. And John Horseshoe, of course, went round, is trying to come back as well. He's a little bit of a way down, but for the end of the race he might get onto the coattails of this little battle that is going on. So 5 cars involved in this then. they all accelerate downhill right now, and just putting his...
That's a brave old move on the inside there, but he's positioning himself for an outside overtake. Can he release off the brakes, roll? Come on, stick it in there, mate. That is really good. Stick it, stick it, stick it. He's out on the bad side of the track, but he has the better line outside. I tell you what, that was some excellent driving. That was really well done. Took a lot of bravery to hold it on the outside line there. But look at that. Doors open, and that's...
All of a sudden, all the positions can change in a heartbeat, can't they?
Everything.
And Michael Mathis, who was in a position hopefully to take advantage of that lot, actually has not been able to do so. And well, all of a sudden, John Horsch is very nearly with them. So absolutely amazing. So position changes there, and that was a move and a half. That might have been the move of the day around the outside.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, I think Cook was a little bit surprised by all the action in front of him and had his bag of popcorn out, wondering, because it was such a good show. Unfortunately, it compromised his own ability to overtake. But you watch, there's a lot of opportunities still ahead.
So, in the meantime, Manny Franco's extended his lead at the front of the pack by 5 seconds now. So 5 seconds ahead.
Wow.
Now these drivers have gapped themselves a little bit, haven't they? So some brilliant stuff going on there that was really, really enjoyable. Now, here we can see as they chase up the hill, and this is Tony Davis in the number 4T car, and right behind him is the number 66 car of Brad Falver. So
some damage look there on the outside. That was obviously from some incident, just a little delicate touch on the rear of the Ferrari.
So Tony Davis, will that affect will that impact the performance of the car in any way?
Not performance, maybe a little aero, but he won't feel it.
Meantime, Martin Burrows, look at this.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Well, the door mirrors were going quicker than the cars at that point.
Wow, who needs one of those? That was some dicey stuff as they all touch each other.
You see, Brian Cook, who is doing a brilliant job here. You'll recall just a few moments ago the fight that was with Dave Musier. It was just extraordinary racing going on here. And here we can see, through it all, Custodio Toledo, who has been absolutely remarkable. It's like he's concreted to that position.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a really good job not to get bothered by what's going on behind. But, of course, as he looks in his mirrors, he's encouraging it.
I think Musiel Jr.'s got an issue.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame, because that's been so good. So Brian Cook now has Martin Burrows between himself and Justin Rothberg. And, well, whatever the issue was with Musiel Jr., apart from the fact one of his door mirrors is missing, courtesy of one Mr. M. Burrows, I think, who got a bit close going by. He does seem to have got back going again. Yeah. So here is Martin Burrows now in the silver car, which is the third car in this pack of 3 that you can see. Custodio Toledo, Brian Cook, and Martin Burrows. And, well, they have given us some phenomenal racing. And Martin Burrows, then, the Ferrari Quebec driver, we think was sent to the back of the pack because he didn't get away on the formation lap, and that meant that he had to start right from the back of the grid. He'd obviously got the bit between his teeth as a result of that, and has cut a swathe through the pack thereafter, and has driven everything off of that 488 Challenge Evo, and has taken no prisoners, that's for sure. So through.
Yeah, he really is. He has the faster car right now. He wants to clear these two. Not easy to do, but I think he's setting up for a pass here as he come down to 11. Let's see. Gosh, they're fast down that straight. Straight with corners.
They are.
The called S's.
Yeah.
Yeah, really very. He's too far back for a move right now, but he's going to make himself known as they go down into 11 in front of the Ferrari hospitality. That was this is very spicy.
You're not kidding. Meantime, Tony Davis and Brad Falver continue their little fight that is going on here. And Tony, as I say, has had a really, really mixed weekend, and I think Amanda has a view on that as well.
That's exactly right. He had a pretty bad off at turn 10 heading into the race weekend, and he has not been shy in talking about how it's just really shooken him up. He said that he's just a driver that always races this Ferrari on the edge, that his team almost even compliments him of how risky that he's willing to be inside of that Ferrari, but said that just getting back into this race car, he can't necessarily just get back into the groove of the way that he's been driving before. But right after qualifying, there was a conversation that was had between him and Manny Franco on just that thing. And Manny Franco's first question to Tony was this your first big off? And I think the two ended up continuing talking as I saw them walk back to the paddock. But, you know, you think of the difficulty of reminding yourself of what you've accomplished. Tony Davis won here last year. He was a champion in his class last year. How hard is it to get back up to speed in just trusting yourself in this race car?
It's a fair point, Amanda, and thank you for bringing that. While you've been talking, we have been watching Martin Burrows almost carve a real amusement park roller coaster out of the curbs because he rode them as he's trying so hard to get by Brian Cook ahead. I mean, this is extraordinary driving. And
he just lost a bit there, didn't he? Because he gave him a lot of grief up the top end of the track, which he's got to regather. But look, there's a bit of a lungy move coming from right behind from
Rothberg, isn't it?
Wow, Justin doing... Should remember that name, shouldn't I?
Yes. Oh, goodness. Wow. Right. Meantime, now this is for a critical position because with only 3 3/4 minutes remaining, Jason McCarthy is in P3, and all of a sudden, Roberto Perina is saying, do you know what? I want to be on the podium today.
Yeah.
And now Jason McCarthy is metaphorically having to stick his elbows out here and defend that P3 position from Roberto Perina. Now, Matt Kwiatkowski has escaped up the road in P2. Manny Franco has almost brewing another cappuccino because he's so far up the road, very nearly 7 seconds. But this is a real fight going on for P3 in the remaining 3 minutes of this Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli race.
Who managed their tyres better?
Well,
who has more left in the tank, so to speak? Have you got a bit better? Is the rubber working with you for the last couple of laps? I mean, that's what it's going to count. If you look at these guys, they are really going for it. Who do we have there? Is that back to?
Yeah, that's back to Custodio Toledo.
Toledo and Cook, isn't it? Oh, very wide there. That was the opportunity. Oh my goodness, he was lucky to save that. But I reckon he's struggling. I think right now Toledo, he's worked so hard to stay out in front. I think unless there's a battle going behind, Dave, which there is.
Here comes Martin Burrows for take 2. I mean, they have really, I mean, fair play for entertainment value. They have given it to us, and particularly Martin Burrows, who's been driving like a demon. And
see, the dynamics there, though, is that if Cook lets Toledo get a breather, Toledo is able to pull out again.
Yeah.
But if he gets close, Toledo starts making mistakes. But meanwhile, you've got Burrows behind, who just wants to go by them all. And behind that, you've got Rothberg, who says, I'm going to have a go if you make a mistake. So it's a bit of yin and yang all the way here. Whoever makes their play first, and I'm not sure which one it is going to be. I wouldn't run Burrows out, though. I think he's ready to overtake both these guys.
I think you're right. So, I have to say my hat is taken off to Custodio Toledo, because whilst all this has been going on, he has maintained that P6 position. And yes, I think you're right. I think the cars behind him have been a bit quicker at times. I think towards the end of the race, the car has come back to Custodio Toledo.
Yeah, he's driven excellently, but right now he knows he's got to hold on to this position for probably 2 more laps, and no one behind him wants him to have that position. So,
and when you get into that, Justin, you know you've only got 2 laps left, and you've been trying, and you've been hung up behind those cars. Do you lose a bit of? Do you think, right, to heck with it, I'm just going to have a go now, or is that when you think, hang on, sensible head on, think of banking the points?
Not many. The sensible head thing gets a bit boring, doesn't it? You want another point, but there it does exist. Obviously, we all have to do that. But right now, this place is up for grabs. I've got to say that we're seeing a lot of opportunity here.
Manny Franco then with 8.3 seconds to the good over Matt Kwiatkowski he has just driven a stellar race, hasn't he? And here is Martin Burrows, who's obviously got by.
Yes.
He's got by Cook, and here comes Justin Rothberg. Now this is for the lead in Trofeo Pirelli Am. So Brian Cook, who's been protected from Justin Rothberg by having a Trofeo Pirelli driver, now does not have that protection. So all of a sudden Justin Rothberg can sniff the rich smell of success here and a P1. And he's going to chase Brian Cook for all he is worth. This is the last lap. Meantime, Martin Burrows is just anything in front of him. He's going to try and pass.
Oh, look at this. He's sticking his nose in, going through the very twisty tight turn 4-5 section there. This is, and side by side down. That is the move we've been waiting for. Toledo certainly hasn't been waiting for, but look, it's going to be, oh, it's like a train going by him, unfortunately, once the door's open. But he defended very well there.
Oh, Jason McCarthy, and he's got, you can see the car is, now that's going to change things in terms of the podium. Meantime, Justin Rothberg on Brian Cook.
He was, unfortunately, he made contact and it affected him.
He could still recover for a podium, though. In the meantime, while all that is going on, Manny Franco is heading towards the checkered flag. Let's see him take the race victory as he does take the checkered flag. Now, I reckon Jason McCarthy could have got that car turned around in the right direction again. Could he do it ahead of Roberto Perina? That's the big, big question. Matt Kajewski has crossed the line. He's taken P2. No, Perina got around him and has taken P3. So bad news for Jason McCarthy. What a shame. In the meantime, the action that has been coming in Trofeo Pirelli thick and fast. Trofeo Pirelli Am, I should say. Well, it played into the hands of Brian Cook. Justin Rothberg's a real go on him. And, well, it's going to be Brian Cook then in the number 3 car for Ferrari of Seattle that heads towards the checkered flag now. He will take victory for Trofeo Pirelli Am. Drive of the day, in my opinion, has to come from, well, probably 2 drivers, and Martin Burrows is one of them. Another one of them is Custodio Toledo, because they've just been awesome, absolutely awesome. Dave Musial on his return to racing takes P2. Justin Rothberg did get the car turned around again to retain a podium. He takes P3 in Trofeo Pirelli Am.
Custodio Toledo, even though that was amazing for us to watch, I'd be so excited to know what he says when he gets out of the car. That probably wasn't that fun because he was looking in his mirrors the whole time, but he did it excellently.
This is what happened to Jason McCarthy then. Well, initially he'd made a mistake, hadn't he? Then he tried to come back, just a little touch, and that was enough to send him around.
Yeah.
What a shame, but there we are. What a race, and Manny Franco then victorious once again, and Brian Cook victorious in Trofeo Pirelli Am, and that is, I mean, Brian's had a number of P2 places, I think 3 this year, so he at last takes the win, and Manny Franco adds to his tally of success, and he's had a double win this weekend. Well done, Brian Cook, Ferrari of Seattle, winner in Trofeo Pirelli Am. Well done to Manny Franco, winner in Trofeo Pirelli. So I'm going to make my way down towards the podium and leave everything in the capable broadcast hands of Mr. Justin Bell. What a race. I so enjoyed that.
That was really, really great fun, Dave. We'll just make sure you make it out down those very steep steps. Let's just have a look at that overall results. Well done to Manny Franco. Matt Kojieski in 2nd place. He had a nice gap there. Roberto Perina in 3rd. That was our podiums there. McCarthy, Medler, Burrows, Toledo, Cook, Musial Jr. and Dave Musial finishing out the top 10 there. Justin Rothberg, Davies, Favre, Porter, Whittle, Wang, Logan, Horesigi, and Horsch. Sorry, my British coming out there. Mathis and Sposato. I mean, well done to you all on that. John Bennett, he was hoping for more, and Omar Balkason there having to retire somewhere in the middle of the race. Certainly a very aggressive race by some, a very defensive play by others, but this track lives up to its name as one of the toughest tracks in North America. It is a genuinely old school racetrack that demands the most out of man and machine, and here in this series, man, women and machine, of course. But if you came through it unscathed and you got a win like Manny, I'd say that you feel pretty good about yourself, especially when you won both races over the weekend, and I'm sure he will be overjoyed. Stands up there and salutes everybody. I mean, just a perfectly executed race from start to finish, and I'm sure the whole team will be celebrating tonight. That is one of the beauties of this racetrack. There are some tracks you win on and some that you dominate, and this is one that if you win, you've not just dominated, but you've written your own place in part of the history of this fantastic racetrack. And our sort of final view as we look across the paddock, there are Ferraris everywhere you can see, but the ones we wanted to watch this weekend are out there on the track. Now, of course, to win a championship, you have to do well in all the races. It's an aggregate thing. But right at the front, Kurczewski is leading the championship from Roberto Perina. He's gapped by 30 points. Jason McCarthy in third place there. We've had some movers, not so much at the top end. Dylan Medler, Manny Franco making his way up, even though he wasn't really in the running for the championship most of the year. But Carlos de Caseda is those group did not move so much, and obviously not many places, much of a shift in the lineup in the championship so far. But Amanda has our winner of the race.
And Manny, the Ferrari Challenge Series is where you really cut your teeth as a racing driver, and you've been able to spread that knowledge to the other endeavors that you race in. What will you take from this weekend?
For sure, it's the tire management here, you know, and just being able to be patient, like that mature kind of style of driving. My coach was just telling me, like, you know, that's what the higher level of racing kind of is being mature, knowing what you have to do, doing it, and not getting, like, you know, too much ambition and trying to push for something that, I mean, maybe you can't do, maybe you can, but it's, for me, that's what I take this weekend, just the maturity. So
I did tell the story of you chatting with Tony Davis. Just talk about the camaraderie within this paddock.
Say again?
Just talk about the camaraderie within this paddock.
Oh, you know, here in Ferrari Challenge, we're like a big family, honestly. Like, everyone here, like, they're like my friends, they're my family, honestly. We chit-chat, we laugh, you know. We have our moments, of course, everyone does, but, you know, at the end, we're just a big family here at Ferrari Challenge, so.
Sweep of the weekend for Manny Franco.
All right, thank you.
Wow, he rightfully looks very excited, and I'll tell you what, he's getting better at these winners interviews every time we hear him. So let's look at the points right now in the championship for Trofeo Pirelli. Justin Rothberg still up at the top there with 107 points. Tony Davis, 85 points. Brian Cook has moved up a little bit closer to 69 points. Mutso, Whittle, Porter, Favre, Horsch, Musial, Kaminsky. Those are our top 10 in Trofeo Pirelli. Pirelli Am, of course, this is Omar Balkisson, Ganassi, Mathis, Wang, Kaiola, Logan, and Campbell. Wow, what a great race. Amanda has the winner of that category. How is he looking, Amanda? Pretty excited, I'd imagine.
Well, as excited as a first-time winner always is, and you have friends and family right here taking videos there. You had your coach somewhere and team everywhere, and I was watching along with your team there towards the end, and they were so anxious and nervous for this achievement to happen for you, and you will stand on the top step of that podium. Is it as good of a feeling as you thought it would be?
It's a little bit of a relief. It's taken a while. We've been very, very close a lot of times, but it's good to finally be here and have a good race.
When you look at the mixed class racing here, that Trofeo Pirelli Am, you guys do start with cars in front of you. When you think of traffic here at Sonoma, how do you balance it?
You have to be super careful. You don't want to take a risk. So that was tough. You know, you wanted to pass, and Coach Mark Miller's like, nope, don't do it, don't do it. And you're balancing somebody that's catching you. So it makes it tough, but it's super fun.
Brian Cook, a forever Ferrari Challenge winner.
You'll never forget the first time, as they say, and look at that, everyone happy for each other after an absolutely beautiful week here in Sonoma, up in wine country. We're going to say goodbye to this epic racetrack now. Thank you to everybody out on track for giving us a great show. Thank you to Ferrari for providing this incredible experience, not just for the drivers, but for all of us involved. I'm Justin Bell saying goodbye. For Dave and Amanda, thank you very much. We will see you. I won't be there, but I will be watching, glued to my screens from Road America. Take care, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the summer.